The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group and Gonzalez. Total Car Care, tire shop and automotive repair in Baton Rouge. Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. And the Bugman, we get them before they get you. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, I'm Lee Burkeen, your host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Today I'm excited. We've got our part 2 for our All-Louisiana team defense for South Louisiana, our 28th year. Started doing this in '97 for Louisiana Football Magazine. I thought we would share it on a TV show where I can talk a little bit more about it than just see a name, with height and weight in school. But we'll put, obviously have that up on the screen when I mention them. But I can talk a little bit about the kids and what I've seen over the years and tell you about the top players on the team. The part 1, we talked about D-line and linebackers. Part 2, we're going to talk about corners, safeties, punters, and long snappers. So let's go ahead and get started. Excuse me, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get started. We'll be right back. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And again, I hope you've enjoyed all the shows about the All-Louisiana team. And look, if you're from North Louisiana, we're doing a North Louisiana team next week, just like we did for South. So I'm finishing all my videos and all my huddle, full games. So I want to make sure I have it all right and all done properly. So we'll have a North Louisiana offense and defensive team next week to be seen on our YouTube channel for Louisiana, the Sports Scouting Report podcast for Louisiana Football Magazine. And again, I'm your host, Lee Burkeen. Let's go ahead and get started with cornerbacks. There's a lot of corners in the state. And what's crazy is LSU this past year, they did not have more than like 3 corners on the whole team healthy after week 5. 3 guys were in the portal that they signed that didn't even play. But Louisiana is always known as producing some of the best defensive backs in the country year after year. Actually, the past 2 years, they've had the #1 safety in the country. In 222, Jacoby Matthews went to Texas A&M. He was the #1 ranked safety. In 223, class of 223, Derek Williams from Westgate was the #1 safety in the country and went to Texas. In 224, class of 224, Louisiana produced Wardell Mack, who we're going to mention later is one of the best in the country, and several other players. So LSU should always have DBs along with everybody in Louisiana because that's the one position that's always well stocked. Let's go ahead and get to it. We're going to start with cornerbacks, and there's a bunch of great ones I've seen. Eric Franklin is a cornerback from Lake Charles College Prep. His dad played college football. His dad's the head coach at Lake Charles College Prep. Eric is smooth as they come, 6 foot, 180 pounds, lockdown corner, and is going to be a great player in college. He'll play right away. Whoever signs Eric is getting a great player. Derek Irvin from De La Salle High School in New Orleans is a phenomenal player because I love how he plays man defense and he intimidates players by getting in their face. And he's one of the best hitting DBs in the state. Derek is 6'1", 170. Again, he's a plug-in right away to be a D1 contributor. Armani Bell from McDonough 35, 5'11", 175, a great track guy. He runs under a 10.9 in the 100 meters. He's also a lockdown cornerback for Frank Daggs in McDonough 35. I thought he was one of the best in the country. I still do. Remember his name. He's going to be a great player. Another corner from Salmon High School. He started his career at Pearl River as a running back. Caleb Rayford, who's played a lot of running back too for Salmon, but he's 5'10", 165. I watched him on film this year as a corner. Man, the stars are aligned, and he has become a phenomenal cornerback for the next level. Remember the name Caleb Rayford from Salmon High School in Slidell. Continuing on with cornerbacks, there's a bunch of them. Levi Derensburg from Edna Carr. For the past 3 years, he has led them in interceptions. He runs a 4.45 40 at 5'10", 175. He's the next DB from Edna Carr that's going to be special. Continuing on, Dylan Day, Southern Lab High School, one of the best corners that I saw in Louisiana this year and last year, signed with Ole Miss. He'll play as a freshman for Ole Miss. He's got size, 6 foot 185, and he will hit you. Continuing on, Bernard Causey signed with LSU out of John F. Kennedy in New Orleans. He's a guy, a lockdown corner, one of the fastest kids in Louisiana with a 4.4 in the 40. He's 6 foot tall, needs to gain a little weight, but he's about 160. He'll probably play at 170 his freshman year at LSU. The next player, Wallace Foster, who is one of the best corners I've seen come out of New Orleans in a long, long time. He reminds me a lot of the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, because he can play corner, strong, free, or nickel corner. And he is an agitator, meaning he will get in everybody's face. He'll intimidate you. And he's only 5'10", about 165, 170. I got him at 175 for when he actually starts playing in the fall of this year. But Wallace is going to be a big help to LSU. Taya Terrell from Destrehan, 6'1", 170, looks the part, can run, will be a great DB in college. Brennan Thompson, corner from East Ascension, for 3 years has been dominant at East Ascension. Played a little receiver, but I think he's so gifted as a cornerback and overlooked nationally by all the national experts. Continuing on, Zay Douglas from Jennings, another corner. Had a chance to sit down with Zay a couple of months ago. He's a 6'3" kid. He's a shutdown corner. He came out from basketball a year ago. I'm telling you, this guy's going to be about 180 in a year, so don't really get caught up in the 160, his weight. Continuing on, Jermel Callio from John Curtis High School. Fast, tough, instinctive. One of the best DBs I've seen come out of Curtis in a long time. 5'10", 175, legitimate lockdown cornerback from John Curtis High School. Kyle Williams from North Shore High School in Slidell. 6 foot, 188. Shutdown corner, will get in your face. Great hitter and can run with anybody. Kyle is very, very gifted. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the rest of the DBs. We're going to talk about the rest of the corners. They could be safeties and the rest of the safeties. And in the final segment today, we'll talk about the punters and long snappers in the state, the top players. We'll be right back. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to talk about the rest of the DBs. We're talking about the All-Louisiana South defense. This is our show part 2 for the defense for South Louisiana. There's a lot of DBs in the state that are legitimate. This is every year. Let's continue on at DB. These are guys that can play corner and safety. Some of the best I've seen. Wardell Mack, everybody's heard of Wardell from John Ehret. He signed with Texas. I know LSU was trying to get him. He was committed to Florida for a long time and then signed with UT. What makes Wardell so special is he's aggressive, he's physical, he's one of the best hitters in the state, he's instinctive, and he's fast. So he could be a safety, he could be a corner, he could be a nickel corner, he could be a strong safety. He's really a jack of all trades. So look for Wardell Mack to play right away at Texas because he can play any position as a DB. He's one of the best in the country. Continuing on at corner and safety, a kid that I saw that impressed me a lot is a kid by the name of Layman Foster from Booker T. Washington in New Orleans. 6'2", 190. Played cornerback at that size and an intimidator, a man defense corner, and also can play safety. But I'm telling you, remember that name. He's a big-time player. Darius Davis is the next kid from Archbishop Rummel. He missed the year with an injury, signed with Stanford, and he's going to be an All-American in college still, I believe, because he missed his senior year, but his junior year was phenomenal. He's a big-time hitter, 6 foot 195. Rummel is like DBU in Louisiana. They've got a ton of players in college football right now that play DB. Joel Rogers is the first of 3 DBs I'm going to talk about from West Feliciana High School. Small school with 3 DBs on all Louisiana team. But Joel Rogers signed with LSU, played quarterback at West Feliciana because the team needed him there, which impresses me a lot. But he's a physical guy. He's a big guy that can run. And I think he's going to play right away as a strong safety for LSU or a free safety because he's physical, he's a hitter, He loves the game and he's a worker. He's 6 foot 195. He comes in physically ready and mentally ready to go. Joel Rogers is going to be a great player for LSU. The next kid is Chance Joseph from Archbishop Rummel. 6 foot 200, played linebacker for Rummel, but really a safety for college. Runs a 4.6, very aggressive, very talented, big-time sleeper. The next kid is Kayan Otis from Donaldsonville High School, 6 foot 180, played all over the field, running back, receiver, DB. I love his aggressiveness. I love his athletic ability. He can play safety any day for anybody. Continued on, Lewis Foster from Archbishop Shaw in New Orleans, the West Bank. Lewis has been a 3-year starter, lettered 4 years, 6 foot 180, big time hitter again. Hank Turney's had some great ones. Ryan Clark and several guys over the years. They've had over 50 DBs go to college, D1. Lewis Foster's the next one. Deshaun McBride, speaking of safeties, free safety, signed with LSU from Denham Springs. He's originally from Utah. He moved here with his mom when he was a young kid, but was raised a little bit in Utah. This is a unique player. His junior year, he had 2 pick sixes for over 60 yards. He baits quarterbacks. And McBride is all of 6'2", and he's going to weigh about 195, 200 pounds for the fall. And he's going to be about 220 when he's done. This is a knockout, big-time signature for LSU. They needed a big free safety. Now, he's not going to be as big as he will be his sophomore year at LSU, but he's so good that his freshman year, he will contribute and help LSU a lot because he can read and he loves to pick passes off, and LSU needs that a lot. Ivan Clark is another safety that I watched this year. Warren Easton, 6'2", 180, big-time hitter, fast, physical, has everything. Jashawn Johnson from Franklin, played all over the field for Franklin. I think he's a great free safety for college. Ty Lee, you don't hear this name much from Lafayette Christian. Jawan Johnson is great there, Melvin Hills, but this kid here, Ty Lee is 6'2", 185, and he's one of the best hitters in Louisiana that I saw, and he can cover ground. I think he's a big-time player. The next player is Jalen Wood from Catholic High Baton Rouge, physical safety, came on his senior year, played a little bit, started a lot his junior year. Jalen is 6 foot 180 and really packs a punch. We have 3 more DBs. Anthony Robinson, who signed with Ole Miss from Destrehan. Anthony played linebacker for Destrehan. I love this kid. I thought he was LSU good. He's obviously good enough to go to Ole Miss. He's going to start, in my opinion, as a freshman. He's 205 pounds now, 6'1", and he's a big hitter, and he can run. 2 kids from West Feliciana. We already talked about Joel Rogers, but there's Desmond Roundtree and Cameron Whitaker. They're both 6'1". You can't tell them apart hardly in build. One's 190, one's 180, 185. They're both tall, can run, and they hit. They're aggressive. West Feliciana had a special group of athletes this past year. 3 DBs on our All-Louisiana team. That's very rare. I hope you enjoyed the DB section. We got one more position to talk about. We're going to take a break, and that's punter and long snappers when we come back for the All-Louisiana defensive team South for the class of 224. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is our final segment for part 2 of our defense All-Louisiana South team. A lot of talent. I hope people are learning these names, not just the obvious ones you already know, but some guys that, look, write them down, remember them. They're going to be great players. A lot of these guys are being hidden by colleges. They don't want me to really talk about them because we have another signing day in February, and a lot of these guys are going to sign, and you're going to say, man, I heard these on Lee's show before signing day, and they got to steal. The smart coaches are going to get a lot of these guys. Let's continue on with punter. You don't have a lot of punters that come out of Louisiana that are college ready, but I did find 4 kids that have had great careers that can punt for average, and they have great legs. And it's led by Braden Gilbo from Southside, a punter whose brother is a starting punter for ULM in Monroe, the college football team, and their dad played for USL as a punter back in the day. But Braden is 6'1", 190, built like a linebacker in a good way, very fit, strong leg, good hang time, and he's a D1 guy, I believe. If he walks on, he'll win a job. Dylan Albert from Thibodaux was a kicker for 3 years since his freshman year at Thibodaux. He moved to punter full-time only, and he was phenomenal. I saw a game this year. I went to a game. It's like it came out of a ball machine. The kid's leg is so good. Great hang time, great leg. Dylan Albert. Ethan LeBlanc Hansen had one of the best averages for a punter the last 2 years in Louisiana with over 43 yards a punt. Great hang time. The last punter is Braden Bertucci, who played a little receiver. Tough kid, 6'1", 175 out of Laplace. St. Charles Catholic. Coach Stein did a great job with this team. I've said it many times. They've won 2 state championships in a row. They played for 3 state championships in a row this year and was runner-up to Calvary Baptist. But, man, a great program. Braden is a great punter. Hopefully somebody will give him a chance. And our last position, there's only 2 kids for long snappers. But both of these guys are ready to go in and start wherever they go. Everybody needs a long snapper, but nobody carries more than 1 or 2 on their roster. The number 1 long snapper in South Louisiana that we have on our list is Brooks Wright from Catholic High Baton Rouge. Brooks is 6'2", 195, was a great receiver for the program, is a great long snapper at Catholic High Baton Rouge. And the other player who's just as good for John Curtis High School, Jason Dudenhofer, who is 5'10", 180, never screwed up, never had a bad snap, it seems, was money for John Curtis the last 3 years, one of the best in the country, him and Brooks Wright. That is our defensive team for South Louisiana, class of 224. This is part 2 of our show. Again, I hope you enjoyed it as a parent, as a recruit, as a coach, and as a new, maybe, viewer to our show. Please support us and hit the subscribe button up top, the like, the share. Please do that to help us grow so we can do more in the future for these young men in the state of Louisiana. And I hope you enjoyed what we did. I dug deep into the core of all the sleepers that you don't hear about until signing day in February. And I wanted to do it before February so everybody gets an idea of who is, guys that can play that you just don't hear about. And I watch all these guys play. I'm that crazy guy that does that. And again, I hope me sharing this is something that we either helped a kid and the college coach will watch. We gave a kid inspiration by letting him know that he's one of the best in the state of Louisiana. And in the future, I'm going to do a sleeper team and a Heart of Champion team. And we still got to do our North Louisiana, All Louisiana team. We did South this week. We're going to do All Louisiana team North, offense and defense as well. And hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you really soon.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.